Chapter 18. Hinata's Resolve. Come in, Hinata replied, thinking it was Ram. The guards on the other side of the door the guards on the other side opened the heavy door, and inside strode exactly the man she expected, Cardinal Nicholas, one of her trusted friends, and a nervous-looking Archbishop Ram behind him. This was expected, but the group behind them were what surprised Hinata. It seems the 7 days clergy was here. Good to see you, Hinata. Are you doing okay? Why are you looking so surprised? The 7 days clergy conversed inside Hinata's mind. Hinata could not hide her surprise. Why are you here? She asked them. Who are these guys? Hinata, Sarah asked. Silence, Sarah. You are in the presence of the 7 days of the 7 days. Nicholas, Hurley replied. Nani? Everyone shouted. Exactly, Hinata admitted. All the knights immediately stood up and saluted except for Hinata. According to the rumors, the 7 days clergy were all well-trained, surpassing the realm of enlightenment and charged with the training of the next hero. Their existence are stuff of legends. Because of the mysteries that surrounds them, they were the ones who gave Hinata the trials that determines the next hero of humanity. Though Hinata hated them with a burning passion because of their negligence to the Crusaders before she became their leader. She determined that the 7 days were all useless relics of the past. When she took their trial, she took their skills with her unique skill, Upser, which grants her 2 powers. Seize, which grants her the ability to take a target skill, and Copy, which lets her learn the skills she has taken for herself. So, what brings you here today? Oh, she has very much surpassed the 7 days clergy in power, and they hated her for that. So what brings you here today? Hinata asked while glaring at them. The rest of the knights could pick up on the hostility in Hinata's voice, and wisely chose to remain quiet. There is no need to be alarmed. Archbishop Ram has brought back some fine information about the new Demon Lord, has he not? We simply want to hear what he wants to say about the new Demon Lord for ourselves. This was their answer to her question, but it seems that the 7 days clergy were using thought communication to answer her question in her mind, and the 3 of the 7 days clergy present in the meeting were those 3 who were the most corrupt in the group. Ares, the Tuesday priest who controls fire, though it's a lighter flame compared to Shizu's. Dina, the Monday priest, and Vina, the Friday priest. Hinata obviously did not trust them from day one. These guys never liked Hinata and would choose any opportunity given to them to mess with her and bring down her spirit. It got worse after Hinata surpassed them in power, with them now plotting to kill Hinata by any means necessary. She could not figure out their motives, but she will eventually. Hinata began to grow nervous. Very nervous. Rimiru obviously had a poor impression of her. If the clergy begin to get in her way, only the gods know what Rimiru would do to her and her nation. She could only hope that when Rimiru learns that Luminous is their leader of this nation, she will be enough to calm him down. She faced Raham and gave him a listening ear. I and Volume were very foolish. We challenged a foe that was far too fearsome for any of us. He will be the downfall of any proud nation, and any nation who wishes to challenge him will meet their end just like we did, Raham said with his bloodshot eyes and nervous, and his voice raised like a scream while shivering like a scared lost puppy. As they told the story, the paladins began to murmur amongst themselves. The sheer size of this monster was astounding to them. Nothing there could think of will. Nothing there could think of what will help them block the flash of light in Ram's story. Hinata remained calm and collected. She surmised that the attack uses the principle of sunlight. The droplet of water simply reflected the sunlight at a very fast rate. It was a dangerous skill, but it was counted as if you know how the skill works. As if to back up her theory, the 7 days began to provide their own commentary. Perhaps this is sunlight magic, the kind Sir Gurin was always so gifted at. But wouldn't the ancient magic barrier shut it down? And Grin didn't have that much force to it. Grin, the Sunday priest, was the head of the clergy. His magic allowed him to control light. One of his spells concentrated sunlight in a similar way. Hinata understanding how the power worked, didn't seem that much bothered about it. Just as she was thinking that Rimiru was no big deal after all, Riam continued. A moment, please. The mystery attack was a dreadful thing, indeed, but it was not what frightened me the most, he said while swallowing a lump in his throat and sweating in terror. Everyone in the room stopped what they were doing and to pay attention to what Riam was saying. The real horror came after that. The next moment, the battlefield was completely quiet. Some were unconscious, some were fatally hurt. Others were wounded and screaming on the ground. Still more were healthy and moving around, scared out of their wits. And yet, the very next moment, all noise was gone. What do you mean? Hinata asked calmly. I mean what I said, Lady Hinata. At the moment, the surviving members of our army of 20,000 died in a blink of an eye. The only survivors were Sir Raisin, and Maris, the king of Farmas, and me. Seeing it made me lose my sanity, Ram said with a very frightened look on his face. Silence fills the meeting room, and truth is not something the knights could fathom. They all recalled the tale of a single individual laying waste to an entire nation, becoming a demon lord. This individual was said to embody the embodiment of calamity herself. She was a being whose power is beyond human comprehension, and when she moves, destruction follows her. Hinata recalled what Luminous told her once, when she asked her about her ranking in the Demon Lord hierarchy. A little flashback. There are two beings whose power I cannot begin to comprehend, Guy Crimson and Milim Nova. These two are in their own realm of power that we cannot even fathom. I believe that those two have surpassed two dragons in power. Who will win if you fight them? And naive Hinata asked. If I fight Milim, I might be able to outwit her, but I would never win. As for Guy, there was just no contest between us. I would straight up die in a blink of an eye if I fight him. A little flashback ends. Hinata couldn't help but shiver from recalling that memory. Maybe if all the humans were to band together, they might defeat such beings, but that was wishful thinking. The others finally realized that they were what they were dealing with. This was not just This would not just be a demon lord. This would be an awakened demon lord with his full power. And the situation, to make the situation worse, he was being supported by Valdora. A heavy silence filled the room. It was very clear that no one wants to admit that a demon lord in a true meaning was born. It seems they have forgotten about the rumor of Rimiru's ascension. I see. So we should assume that the Demon Lord Rimiru has awakened. I have a question. Is it true that Rimiru has ascended into a true dragon? Hinata asked. The paladins were once again reminded of what they were discussing before Rayham came in. They too wanted to confirm if the rumor was true or not. Rayham began to shake and hyperventilate after Hinata asked him that question. He started sweating and tears of blood began to come out of his eyes. This seriously surprised everybody in the room by a lot. What could have he seen that frightened him so much? What did the new Demon Lord Rimiru do to him to reduce him to such a state? Reduce him to this state. Finally, after some minutes, Rayham calmed down a little bit to answer Hinata's question. Before I was released by Demon Lord Rimiru, he approached me in my prison. His appearance was different from before. He looks older, more feminine, but the frightening thing about him was his powers. The aura that was pouring out of him was unlike anything this world has ever felt. He was beyond being accompanied by a high-ranking demon. I didn't even pay attention because the power Lord Rimiru was executing was terrifying. Compared to when he massacred us, his powers seems to be endless. I didn't know how strong Demon Lords were supposed to be, but Demon Lord Rimiru's powers are catastrophic in nature. That answered Hinata's question. She can now confirm from what Rayham said that Demon Lord Rimiru has indeed ascended into a true dragon. Just as Luminous has said, the rest of the knights were simply left speechless. It seems that their confidence from before were now a thing of memory. Not even they will act cocky after hearing something like this. What did Demon Lord Rimiru say to you? Hinata asked. Oh, that is right. He wanted me to deliver a message to you, Lady Hinata, Rayham said to her. He handed a crystal ball to Hinata. Hinata looked at it and eyed it with suspicion. It could be possible, Rimiru. What could Rimiru possibly want to tell her? Maybe it was a collection of horror. She was frightened to know what the message is, but she has to know. She activated the crystal, and it showed an image of a goddess. No, that's not right. This was clearly Demon Lord Rimiru in the flesh, but his appearance could only be described as divine. Hinata was very surprised. What a change. She could hardly believe that this beautiful deity before her was the same Rimiru she fought a few months ago. How did this transformation happen? Her eyes met that of Rimiru in the recording. She began to freak out. She just now realized how nervous and frightened she was. As for the other paladins, they all had a gobsmacked expression. This beautiful deity supposed to be Is this beautiful deity supposed to be the new Demon Lord? Sarah asked with a surprised voice. I can't believe how beautiful he looks, Renard said. So this is Demon Lord Rimiru, huh? I admit it. I was expecting an angry-looking man, but not this beautiful girl, Grigori said. Wait, is Demon Lord Rimiru even a man? Fritz asked. I always pictured him to be a man, but now I am not so sure anymore, Glenda said. I know I know how he may look, but I can assure you that he is 100% male, Hinata said to them. This once again silenced them. What can they say if they are told that the most beautiful being they have ever seen is a male? The message began, and everyone remained silent to hear what he was saying. What he has to say. Hinata, are you there? I'll take you on in 1-1 duel with no interference. That was the entire message. So simple, with no room for misunderstanding. Everyone who saw the message could understood one thing. Rimiru is angry because of what Hinata did to him. He killed Clayman, and Hinata was next on the table. What do we do, Lady Hinata? Nicholas asked in a nervous voice. Lady Hinata, give me your orders, and I will gladly lead a force to crush this new demon lord, Arnaud said. Of course, that's what you would say. Do you even have a brain in that heavy or? Sarah asked Arnaud. What did you say? Arnaud asked in rage. Didn't Hinata spend the last half hours saying hands off? Do you really think the other demon lords will just sit it by if you touch one of their members? That's assuming we can even touch him, Sarah said to him. Are you getting cold feet, Sarah? Arnaud mocked him. Not all. If what Ram said about this new demon lord ascension to a true dragon is true, then our only option will be to accept his request, Sarah said. He is right, Arnaud. Not only do we have Demon Lord Rimiru to deal with, but we also have the Storm Dragon Valdora as well. We might be able to take one of them on if we attack together, but against both at the same time, we'll just ask him to be slaughtered, Litus said. Hinata, meanwhile, weighed her options. Arnaud offer a full battle with Rimiru. If there were to accept, it could lead to war with the other nations joining, which will be bad for them. That's assuming Rimiru doesn't outright massacre us. On the other hand, she could accept his offer and settle this between them without involving anybody else. Since this mess was because of her foolishness, she has the responsibility to see it through to the end. To see it through to the end. In a way, she was very lucky that she did not invade Rimiru's nation without grasping the situation as a true dragon. Things like number or no longer matters to Rimiru. But something was strange. Did Rimiru's ascension make him lose his humanity? Does he truly want her dead? Why were the 7 days clergy accompanying Raham? And why were they keeping quiet the whole time? She was beginning to doubt this whole thing, but she had no evidence to back up her hunch. All she could do is go and meet with Rimiru. She believes that she will have her answers when she's done. When she does. She stood up and looked at everyone in the room. I will meet Demon Lord Rimiru like he wants, but not to fight him. Rather to apologize for what I did to him. If that is your decision, very well. May the protection of Luminous protect you. The Demon Lord Rimiru is no threat. We believe you have what it takes to surpass him. But you can have this. It's called the Dragon Buster. This is for added protection, just in case. They gave Hinata a new sword. She was dumbfounded. She just said that she was not going to fight Rimiru, and now pushing her to fight him, this greatly increased her suspicion of them. She accepted the sword and gave them her thanks. After that, the 7 days clergy left the meeting room. My lady, the paladins tried to say, but Hinata silenced them. All of you have your assignments. This joint session is hereby adjourned, Hinata declared. The paladin stood up and bowed before leaving the room. They may have something to say, but they will never disobey their captain's order. After the room was empty, with only Hinata remaining, she looked up and sighed. I wonder if my end is fast approaching. Whatever happens, I'll make sure that Rimiru's wrath ends with my life. She swore as she left the room. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe today to become one of my domestic listeners. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.